In 1956, a lucky photographer was assigned to capture the rise of a young performer named Elvis Presley. The best of his photos are part of a giant new book, Elvis and the Birth of Rock and Roll. Many of these pictures were never seen until recently.
Now, I got to tell you the story.
Photographer Alfred Wertheimer has a lot of stories. They all go back to the assignment he got in March 1956 from RCA Records.
We want you to photograph Elvis Presley. I said, after 10 seconds of silence, Elvis who?
Elvis wasn't Elvis yet. The label had just signed the 21-year-old singer, and his first single was heading up the charts.
Well, since my baby left me, well, I found a new place to dwell.
Wertheimer was sent over to Broadway to take some publicity shots.
This is the CBS studio.
Yeah, the CBS studio stage.
This is now the Ed Sullivan Theater.
Yeah.
I said, shake her and roll. I said, shake her and roll. What you want to do right to save your doggone soul.
Where Elvis was appearing on a TV program, fans were just beginning to notice him.
Elvis had a theory. You put your arms around the ugly girl in the group, and then all the pretty ones get jealous.
Don't be cruel to a heart that's true.
But Elvis would walk into his hotel that night alone and unrecognized.
What was your impression of him the first time you met him?
He made the girls cry. Now, anytime you can find a performer, even today, who can make the girls cry, real tears streaming down their face, and mascara, and they don't care how they look anymore, and they're hugging each other, bet on that person.
You ain't nothing but a hound dog, you're crying all the time.
The tectonic plates of pop culture were about to shift, and the earthquake was Elvis.
Well, you ain't never caught a rabbit and you ain't no friend of mine. Well, they said you was high class. Well, that was just a lie.
In 1956, his records would spend a combined 25 weeks at #1. Wertheimer caught the singer as the ground was just beginning to shake.
How many pictures did you take of Elvis in the end?
I would say in the Wertheimer collection, there's 2,500 photographs. Not all of them good.
Backstage at a theater in Richmond, Virginia, the photographer lost his subject for a moment. Then,
At the end of this long, narrow hallway with a small window in the back and a 50-watt light bulb over their head, I see two people.
Wertheimer began to shoot, moving closer and closer to the couple.
She says to him, Elvis, I bet you can't kiss me. And Elvis says, I bet you I can.
When you saw that shot, what did you think?
I thought it was pretty interesting. I liked it.
Love me tender, love me sweet.
Elvis allowed Wertheimer almost everywhere.
And I said, Elvis, can I come in the bathroom? Well, doesn't everybody have a photographer in their bathroom?
He didn't mind.
No, come on in. We're in the Supreme Men's shop here, and Elvis is asking me, what do I think of this shirt?
I mean, you just don't get pictures of celebrities like this anymore.
No.
Love me tender.
A 27-hour train ride from New York home to Memphis would produce one of Wertheimer's most iconic shots.
There's only one frame like that. I'm sitting there, and I'm even afraid to bring the camera up to my face. So I'm down here, I've got a cable release in my pocket, and I'm sort of angling it up, and I click off one shot.
Elvis would spot a couple of girls aboard, also headed to Memphis.
He says, you coming to my concert tonight? So they say, well, who are you? And he says, I'm Elvis Presley. And they say, well, how do we know you're Elvis Presley? And he points to me and says, you see that photographer over there? You think he'd be photographing me if I wasn't Elvis Presley?
Well, it's one for the money, two for the show, three to get ready. Now go, cat, go, but don't you.
And soon it would be impossible to take pictures of Elvis like this ever again.
What do we see in this book we haven't seen before?
You're seeing the images very intimately, and you do have to be strong to lift that book. and you should do your exercise before you even get around to reading it.
They're amazing pictures. And the thing is, you know, within months, Elvis couldn't walk down the street alone anymore. And he still could in those days. So Alfred got amazing access in the end.
It's how funny that in the beginning he said, Elvis who?
Yeah.
Who do you want me to take pictures
But
of?
most people didn't know at that point.
Yeah.
But a couple months later, they sure knew.
What he was going to be.
Yeah.
All right. That was fascinating, Anthony. Thanks.